What's up, everyone? It's Karthik with MoneyVest. Welcome on board for our market open live stream. Thank you so much for joining in. Hopefully the audio and the video is going to be good and there are no technical issues. If you can hear me and see me, just give me a thumbs up and we should be all set and all ready to go here. S&P 500 is basically flat pre-market. We've got QQQs also essentially flat, not really moving much after a nice 40-45 basis points jump yesterday, as we are getting very close to the all-time high. And of course, don't forget, today we also do have the JOLTS numbers are going to be coming out. So if you come over to the market calendar under economic calendars, I believe we have the JOLTS numbers scheduled for today. So we do have, again, September 30th, September 30th, we got Tuesday right here. JOLTS number is expected at 7.181 million. That was a previous number, and the estimates are for 7.2 million, so slight increase in the JOLTS numbers and the job openings in the US, and that's going to come out at 10 a.m. Eastern, a very important metric for the entire market. Tesla pushing back up to 441 here, Nvidia up over 40 basis points as well. So again, let me know if the audio and the video is good, and we should be all set and all good to go here. Share this live stream with other traders and investors and friends and family as well. And yeah, good afternoon. It's actually going to be evening here because it's about 12-15 minutes past 6 p.m. At the moment as well. So but it's been raining like crazy. It's been raining for the last couple hours, and as a result, I'm a little bit concerned if the internet is going to hold up or not. But crypto here, Ethereum is getting up to over 4170, so a little bit under 4200. This right here is a very strong area of support for Ethereum. Anything inside 3900 to as much as 4000 points. And then if you come over to Bitcoin, it is also starting to move back higher, however struggling a little bit once again at around the $115,000 to $114,000 level. So this right here, nice little bounce for Bitcoin, back over 108, 109,000, and right now we're seeing a little bit of red candle come back in with a very strong support at 111, 212,000 for Bitcoin. So again, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Really appreciate you all, and let's do this pre-market. We're back at it for the market open, as volatility here is up almost 2%, getting up to over 16.4. And then, of course, a lot of individual stocks, including some of these YouTube favorites. I mean, iron was up over 9.7% yesterday, continues to rip higher, back over 45 bucks. We got SBET up over 7.88, almost 8%, coming up to its area of resistance right around inside this red rectangle here. We got MicroStrategy up over 5.6%, Oklo 5.4% yesterday. BMNR had a really nice day after the Ethereum rally. However, pre-market, it is struggling, down over 1.6% as well. So what are my expectations for the JOLTS numbers? Well, I can tell you that the markets are not very optimistic for the JOLTS numbers here. So 7.2 million is where the expectations are going to be. And of course, if we plug that number in to our unemployed spreadsheet, the ratio actually worsens. It actually drops down to 0.95 to 0.96, and that obviously is not going to be great news for the market. So 7.1 million consensus. Some estimates have them pegged at 7.2. So you can see the consensus range is between about 7 to 7.4 million. It's a pretty wide range, and anything over 7.2 I think is going to be a bit of a cause for concern for the market, because that only worsens the unemployed persons to job openings ratio, right? So that is something to keep in mind, obviously, because we want more job openings, we want more job opportunities available in the US as opposed to fewer job openings, right? And if there's fewer and there's more people unemployed, then that ratio actually worsens, and the Federal Reserve will have to really look at the labor market, and again, that's going to be a bit more concerning for the economy and for the market as a whole. Palantir expectations for this week. So let's just come over to PLTR, which has been consolidating sideways. We got a very strong resistance at 185. By the way, before we move forward, guys, Just let me know if the audio is good. Give me a thumbs up, please. I would appreciate that if the audio in the video is good. If you're having issues, definitely refresh the stream because I know the audio on my market update was not great. There was a lot of echo because my mic got disconnected. So I just want to make sure that there are no technical difficulties from a audio and video perspective. And I'm going to be back in Dubai next week, and I'm going to really be there for the next 3 months. I promise. I'm not going to travel. I'm going to be in one place, and it's going to be more smooth and, of course, better live streams. Although I don't think anyone's going to believe me if I tell them that I'm going to be in Dubai for the next 3 months, because it's very difficult to stay put, especially when you've got family and friends and business all over the place. It's hard to actually be in one place. Okay, image is choppy, but it's working great. It's gonna take some time. The connection is good, so you can see good connection here, so there should not be any problems moving forward. If you are having some issues, just refresh and we should be all good to go. Okay, so waiting on Oklo Iron SMR2 high currently. Mike, thank you so much for that confirmation, but it might benefit AI stocks if JOLTS numbers aren't great for the wider market. If job openings come down, that means there is continued layoffs and people and businesses are not hiring as much, and as a result, yes, we are implementing artificial intelligence. We are using AI to replace what used to be a job done by a human. But what are going to be the long-term consequences of this paradigm shift? I was having a discussion with a member yesterday, and I mentioned that I think we as humans are very good at adapting to new environments. And right now I see this AI transformation, this new era that we're heading into, very similar to what we experienced, 20 years ago, 25 years ago with the rise of the internet, and then prior to that with the rise of the computers. Before computers, think about how much manual accounting we had to do for almost everything. There was manual tasks, manual writings. We had to keep track of it on piece of paper. And of course, all of that was digital after computers came on board. And so people had to adapt. It's not like people got replaced. We started using the computer to our benefit to actually become more skilled and more efficient at what we do. And now, everybody, the work is literally done on computers, right? Everybody uses laptop and we get work done. And similarly, I think that's what AI is going to do. At first, it may look like it's going to replace people, but it's going to force everyone to upgrade and start using AI on a day-to-day basis. I think it's going to make us more efficient, more productive, and as a result, everyone's going to upgrade their skills to be able to use artificial intelligence more consistently and more efficiently over the long term. So I think that's really what's going to happen. In the short to midterm, as I said, there is a possibility that unemployment is high while economic growth is also booming. But at some point, we're going to experience that shift where people would need to upgrade to better skills. Okay, let's take a look at Kava real quick. We'll take a look at that. Open door. To have more opening, they need to cut rates. So what do you mean opening, John? John Trading, what do you mean by having an opening, they need to cut rates? If we have fewer job openings, if by openings you mean job openings, if you have fewer job openings and then more unemployed persons, then that ratio is going to worsen. And that's going to be the cue for the Federal Reserve to actually start cutting rates. But then they're fighting against their dual mandate of inflation because inflation is still running high. The PCE numbers came out last week. We know that core inflation is sitting at 2.9%. Headline inflation is sitting at 2.7%. So those are pretty elevated numbers. I mean, it's not like we're close to the Federal Reserve's target. We are, elevated. And as a result, the Federal Reserve is going to be kind of fighting against their dual mandate, where whether they need to try to accomplish a better labor market or try to bring inflation down, both of those things are going to be questioned, with these interest rates moving forward. So, okay, looks like it's gotten better. Great, perfect. Good here at Lake Tahoe. Steve says, Steve of the Mountains, that's great. Enjoy your time there. Palantir technically looks like a short. We'll take a look at that in just a minute, and we'll take a look at Poet as well. So, okay, first let's start with Palantir. Again, resistance is going to stay roughly at 185, 186. A lot of consolidation sideways in that range with a support level that's going to stay at 160 to 161. And right now, it is in that range with a support that's going to stay roughly around 174, 175 for Palantir, with a resistance all the way up to 185 for the stock. So a little bit of consolidation there. So that's that. Let's take a look at Kava. So Kava we analyzed, I think, yesterday. We did a little bit of analysis on this stock. It continues to sell off, very similar to Chipotle, very similar to a lot of these stocks that are just not having the best year. And we pinpointed an area of support. It's going to be sitting right around this $58 level. Previous resistance, last time we got down to that level, was a very strong support. And that is exactly where we are with very, very oversold technicals for Kava as well. So you want to be very careful with these kind of trades because you'd be trading against the trend. The trend is very clear. It is a very strong downtrend. It is a weak pattern. It's a bit of a falling knife. There is no confirmation yet. So yes, while the risk reward is pretty decent, if you do get a bounce back higher from 58, resistance up to 71, that's a good 20-24% potential upside, but the probability for success is going to be lower. So there's always that trade-off between the probability of success and the profitability potential. If you wait for the confirmation, yes, you're going to be waiting a little bit more, so your profit potential is going to be lower, but your probability of success is going to be higher. So that's the trade-off that you have to really evaluate, whether you want to take an entry right now with a stop loss below 58 and expect that reversal with a target up to 71, 72, knowing that there is no confirmation, we're not getting any volume on this chart, and it's a bit of a falling knife, or you wait for it to show up with some volume. We get a nice little green candle with the daily moving average, whether it's the 5 or the 9 EMA, we're starting to cross back above those levels, and that's when you start to take an entry with a potential target up to $70, $71. Again, profit potential is going to be lower, but the probability for profit is going to be higher as well. So in other words, your success rate is going to be higher. So that is something to keep in mind there. Let's take a look at, so iron we covered. Oklo, let's do that very, very quickly. So OKLO. This right here seems to be the overall analysis. A very nice consistent uptrend. Again, it was very, very overbought. So we're seeing a little bit of a pullback on Oklo here. So if it continues to roll down further, we got a much stronger support sitting roughly at $85. And then one more support where it's getting validated at $107 for Oklo, with a little bit of a gap to fill in on the upside. So support level 107 down to as low as $85, probably one of the stronger support levels aligned with this higher low. The 50 moving average and the previous resistance acting as a new support for Oklo as well. So let's take a look at Open Door. So OPON. And this one also has been very, very parabolic, as you can clearly see on the weekly time frame. I mean, this is just stretched beyond any imagination here on the technicals. Support level is going to stay roughly at 530 with a resistance right now as much as 1045. So you get a pretty wide range for the entire technicals. Okay, so Open Door we covered. Kava we covered. Let me just go over some comments. Palantir we just looked at. Let's take a look at Poet very quickly. I think this is also a stock that we have talked about on the channel before. And this right here is what we have right now for Poet, is a lot of a consolidation in this range with a very strong support sitting roughly at 490 for Poet, with a resistance up to as much as 550. So 550 is going to be that resistance right here, 550 to 575 inside this red rectangle, and a support level at 490 for the stock right now. So I replaced my job with investing. My boss can shove it, Steve says. I hope your boss is not part of this live stream, man. But no, that's great. I mean, that's really what truly brings us happiness, is to be able to travel, spend time with our loved ones, and of course generate money from wherever we want, whenever we want, and trading allows us to do that. Investing allows us to do that. And I tell people all the time, it's a skill. It's a skill that you're really learning, that you can capitalize on forever. It doesn't matter where you are. You can always generate income either by trading, either by options, if you learn this skill and you master it. And it's all about percentages. Do not mistake it for actual dollars. It's all about percentages, right? So in the world of finance, I think it's really important for everyone to have conversations in percentages and not in dollar terms, because it's all relative. And as a result, if you are talking in percentages, it gives you a much better, much clearer understanding of everything. If you can really master the skill of trading and you're able to generate 1.5-2% per month, which is very, very realistic and very reasonable, then that's, we're looking at 18 to 20% per year. And doesn't matter the amount of capital that you're trading with, 18 to 20% is a very, very solid year. That's double the average S&P 500's return. And so if you're trading with $100,000, sure, that's 20 grand a year. That's not life changing. But if you're trading with, let's say, $1 million, now it's 200,000, and now we're talking, right? So it's all about percentages and mastering this skill, so you have the ability to actually travel. And as Steve says, you can essentially replace your income or job with investing, and that's really the holy grail. That's really what true freedom looks like, because you can do this from anywhere in the world whenever you want, and that's so amazing. Yeah, so that is my goal for everyone. That's my objective, that I really want everyone to be financially fulfilled, financially free, so that we can pretty much do this at any time. Okay, can you do a technical analysis on silver or stock SIL or SLV? So let's take a look at silver here. And before we do that, let's go over to Lyft for Fatima here very quickly. So this right here is going to be the analysis on Lyft. Looks like we have done some analysis on this stock before. And right now, once again, a bit more on the overbought side. Most stocks that I'm going to look at right now are going to be overbought, because that's the nature of this market. It is technically stretched. It is a very driven market backed on momentum, quantitative easing with rate cuts, and the overall S&P 500, the NASDAQ, technology, growth, a very, very risk-on environment. And as a result, a lot of stocks are trading at expensive valuations, and of course these stretched technicals as well. So this right here would be an area of resistance to watch for Lyft. In fact, it's going to be a little bit lower as well. You can see that we found support here. We validated that resistance, and right now we're coming up to that level once again. So I'd be careful here at these levels, given how overbought we currently are, with a very nice support at 1850 for Lyft. That's going to be sitting right there with a resistance right now somewhere between 20 and 25 bucks for Lyft. Coming over to silver. So silver has been on an absolute tear this year. So it's up over 60% year to date. Very, very strong momentum coming in for these commodities, and the next all-time high is pretty obvious, $49 to as much as $50 per ounce, with a support level that's going to stay roughly at $34.50. So if you do see any kind of dips, any kind of pullbacks in silver, this is going to be a pretty decent support level to watch, with a resistance at all-time highs at close to 50 bucks per ounce for silver. SKYT, let's take a look at this one here. So we got Skywater Technology, market cap for this company, 877 million. So not bad, just a little bit shy of $1 billion. If you come over to the weekly time frame, you'll notice that it's been consolidating sideways. It's been probably one of the best tradable stocks here. It seems like a trader's paradise, because it is fluctuating between $5 and $19. It's 285% intraday, or I should say like a multi-year range for this stock. So I would put down a very strong support down here at $5, and of course a resistance all the way up to as much as $19 for the stock here as well. So that's really the range within which it's been hovering, it's been trading for quite some time. So now Arashi, it's coming up to that resistance here. I'd be a little bit more careful, given how overbought it's now starting to become. If you do get a breakout above this, the next target is going to be all the way up to as much as $36, $37. That's pretty much the all-time high for this stock. Okay, so silver we covered. NVIDIA resistance and support levels. So cover that on our market updates every day. But this right here is what the daily chart is going to look like. So resistance for NVIDIA around 184, 185. So that right there is going to be that level to watch, with a support level at 173, 174, down to as low as 165 for NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Oracle. So Oracle continues to break down, very similar to Broadcom. It gapped up here, consolidated sideways. We're starting to see a bit of a breakdown. Support level is going to step at 260 next for Oracle, aligned with this previous resistance, as well as a very strong area of support and the 50-day moving average at 260 as well. So let's take a look at Applied Materials, AMAT. So AMAT looks a little bit concerning. You know, given the candle here, lots of sellers stepping in. So we got a long wake to the upside, hitting that resistance, and it's overbought. So just be extremely careful with Applied Materials right now. Support level is going to stay roughly at 190 for the stock, right about there. So pre-market, we are looking slightly down or essentially flat. For the market right now, we got Tesla down about 0.5%. We got NVIDIA up 0.5%. So if you come over to the watch list over here, and we're going to do pre-market, NVIDIA slightly higher, ASML is pushing higher, Broadcom, PayPal, you got Enphase, SMH, TMF, UG pushing higher, but then we do have a lot of red on the screen, partly because of crypto. Crypto has been selling off a little bit again. So, Bitcoin's down over 1.2%. That red candle coming back in, with Ethereum also struggling a little bit pre-market once again. So we're seeing some crypto stocks take a beating once again here. So what's going on, you guys? I'm going to cover more and more stocks as time goes on, but what's happening? How is the week going for everybody? I'm exhausted, to be honest. Like, I'm really tired. I need a good sleep. I need like good 10, 12 hours of uninterrupted sleep all the way through to actually feel like myself again, because the jet lag has been crazy, the traveling has been crazy, and I need to really just go back and focus on my health again, because I'm taking these afternoon naps for a couple hours and I'm having a hard time sleeping at night as well. Corviv, Rubric, IWM, so small caps we'll take a look at. CALM. Those are the stocks I have to cover right now. But what is everybody trading this week? Any interesting stocks that you are looking at from a tradable perspective, not from like a long term, but something that is gaining a lot of momentum, that looks to be breaking out? Definitely drop your ideas and we'll take a look at it. And that's the beauty of the community, is we can curate a lot of ideas together and bring them to each other's attention so that we can look at it together. So don't forget, we do have a lot of FOMC members talking this week, as well as the JOLTS numbers coming out today at 10 a.m. Eastern, with the unemployment numbers later this week on Friday, October 3rd. So that's going to be the first Friday of the month of October, and we're going to get the jobs report later this week as well. So RBRK, let's take a look at Rubric. So consolidation a little bit in a range bound. Support level is going to step out at $74, coming up to its area of resistance now. So this is going to be a little bit of an area where it's struggled in the past, either as a support, and it's now struggling as a resistance here. If you do get a breakout, next target is going to be all the way up to as much as $98, $99 for this stock. It's going to be all the way up here for Rubric. So CoreWeave, let's take a look. Pre-market up almost 10%, so pushing higher very, very nicely. CoreWeave jumps on company's AI infrastructure deal with Meta. So $14 billion AI infrastructure deal with Meta as well. I mean, a lot of these companies are doing deals with each other, and stock prices are just taking off. The buzzwords: AI, deal, billions. Like, those are the three core keywords. If you include them, your stock is bound to rally. That's like the recipe for success in the markets right now. Nvidia doing a deal with OpenAI, Nvidia doing a deal with Oracle, CoreWeave doing deals with Nvidia, CoreWeave doing deals with Meta, Iron doing deals with Nvidia. Just all these companies doing deals with each other, and everybody's making money. So it's incredible. Yeah, with CoreWeave, resistance right now is going to stay put at 148. That's going to be that level to watch right about there. With a support that's going to stay put roughly at $103, $104 right now. So IWM, we're going to be looking at small caps, which did hit a new all-time high. They're still within the context of this uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. So this right here is the overall uptrend for IWM. Continues to trade inside this higher high, higher low pattern. So very nice to see that. If it does break down 230, 231, this right here is going to be that support level to watch, with a resistance all the way up to as much as 247, 250s for IWM. CALM, let's take a look at that one. So, been selling off quite aggressively since 116. Support level is going to stay right about here, $95. It's pretty oversold right now. So this is a stock that one can certainly look at from a reversal perspective, because we were in this nice little uptrend until we were not. But I feel like a better entry, a better buying opportunity would be inside this green rectangle around $88. So keep a close eye at this level right here as a potential entry. And we're looking at a resistance back up to $107, $108 per share. I think my chat is broken on this. It's not working. I don't see anything after BITF. So I'm going to have to use my phone to kind of catch up with all the chat here. Take magnesium and hydrate with electrolytes. Thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate that. Switching VOO for SPY and VUG for QQQ. Joe Lomas, I think that's a good idea. I also have VUG. Do you still eat once a day? Oh, mad. I used to, but not right now. You know, like I'm doing at least a couple meals a day. So I'm gonna start fasting again once I'm back in my routine. But right now I've just been traveling so much, so I need to have the energy to be able to like travel. But once I'm back, I'm gonna start one meal a day again. Rakesh, waiting for a good red day to trade SoFi puts. Yep, SoFi. Any type of cash secured puts, you can probably look into those once we do get a nice little red day. Where are you now? Take a break till Friday, John says. Yeah, I'm back in India, just visiting my family, spending time with my nephew. We'll be back in Dubai next week, so should be fine. And yeah, I'll take a break. If I really need it, I'll take a break, definitely. So Chetan, if Elon package gets approved, do you think it's a setup for another split? I think so. I mean, if Tesla gets up to $7.5 trillion, we're looking at 8 times higher than where it's trading right now, or not exactly 8 times, but close to 5.3 times. So the price would be 440 times 5.3, just over $2,300, and that would most certainly mean not just one, but multiple more splits along the way. All right, so is Nvidia actually going to see any real money out of the deals? I mean, it will. It will. It's just kind of projected out for many, many years. A lot of these companies are inking 3, 5, 7, 10-year deals. And as a result, it's just about realizing that revenue over the course of that time period. And not all of it is most likely going to be realized, but even if 80 to 90% or 70% of that is realized, that's still a ton of money. And I think Wall Street might be pricing in conservatively at least some, fall through on the revenue side. It's not going to be all fully priced in, but to very extent, it's going to be these hyperscalers need to build these data centers. And my brother and I were having a very interesting discussion today about data centers and the overall shortage for data centers. I think there's 2 big plays here. There's obviously the data centers, and the second one is energy. Having efficient energy is very, very important to power these data centers, and your cost will determine how profitable you'll become. And iron is a prime example of keeping costs low or next to nothing through 100% renewable energy and being able to power these data centers through wind and solar, and providing customers with compute power, right? With these NVIDIA GPUs, they're able to power their data centers, and they're able to mine crypto. 100% renewable energy, that's another incredible thing. Space to other companies that want to use it. So it's all about being at the right place at the right time for iron. But over the long term, I feel like it's more of a race to the bottom. It really is, because it's going to get commoditized. Right now, the demand is higher than supply. And as a result, we're seeing these massive prices for NVIDIA chips, for data center utilization, for all these services. But if there is a time where supply is more because of such high demand, you're getting more and more competition every day. More and more companies are renting out space. Data centers are spinning up out of nowhere. You're going to get to a point where there may be, supply demand shifts, which brings prices down, becomes more commoditized, and as a result, it's going to be a race to the bottom. So that is something that we have to be aware of, because it is going to be cyclical in nature. It's not like this is a multiple years of cycle, but it's more of a cyclical nature where short to midterm, iron, a lot of the data center providers, including hyperscalers, have a massive shortage on supply, and the demand is outpacing the supply here. And as a result, prices are really, really high. Margins are lucrative in this business right now. Advanced micro devices, Stefan, we've covered that in our market update. Definitely check that out. And I'm going to go over to some more comments here. Andrew got stuck with 2 Palantir calls and 2 NVIDIA calls that are not doing too good. What is the expiration? What's the expiration? I'll take a look at it. Yes, Wolfspeed is higher. It's been pushing up quite a bit. I was looking at that stock earlier. So Wolf up over 22%, 34% now pre-market. Wow, 1,726% higher yesterday. This market, 1,700%, 1,700%. You literally 17x from like $1 to like 22. That's insane. Chapter 11 bankruptcy, cutting debt by 70%, annual interest by 60%. Oh my God. Wolfspeed jumps from $1 to 20 in a single day on bankruptcy share swap. Okay. Absolutely insane. After all previously issued shares were canceled and replaced with the new issuance. Under this plan, shareholders received a pro rata share of 1.3 million new Wolfspeed common 0.008352 additional shares may be granted if certain regulatory milestones are achieved. The company's now, okay, so obviously the float went down significantly by about 8 times, roughly. Yep. So the shares count went down from 156 million down to 25 million. So, Chapter 11 bankruptcy coming in for this company. Yeah, you can't do weekly covered calls with VUG, but you can do them for QQQs. QQQ is a tradable product. I would consider VUG as a more of an investable index ETF. So if you're looking at trading, QQQs, nothing better than QQQs or SPYs. If you're looking at investing, Vanguard is the way to go. Martin, I'm kind of curious why you think renewable energy is also extremely bad for the environment. Please don't ignore my questions on IAU. I'm trying to get to as many questions as possible. You guys, if I do miss you, I'm sorry. But I'm definitely trying to get to as many as possible. So, Nextera Energy, PSIX. Let's take a look. Power Solutions International. So market cap for this one, we're looking at 2.3 billion. I would say very strong support at just under 80 bucks, with the resistance right now sitting at 121 for PSIX. So when it comes to gold, IAU is good. You know, any gold ETF is going to do the job as long as the expense ratio is low. I shared the ETF shopping list that has the gold ETFs. I think I mentioned GLD, Spider Gold shares in that ETF. This is also one you can consider. Tundan, so IAU is good, but you can also consider GLD. I prefer physical gold if I want to buy that. Why do you kind of look like Unver? That guy makes funny TikToks. Let me take a look. Let me take a look at who this is. Ah, yes. I love his TikToks, man. I really like his TikToks. It's super funny. Do I look like him? What do you guys think? No, I don't think I don't see it. Yeah, maybe a little bit in some angles. I don't know. Is Unver your brother? No, absolutely not. All right, so let's cover Trade Desk, APLD, some of these stocks for all of you. Then we'll get ready for market open, as the market's about to open in about 10 minutes here. Trade Desk, put it on your watch list for sure. Very strong support here inside 42, 43, 45 bucks. We're starting to see some volume come back in. Nice little reversal trade with a resistance possibly up to $60, $61. So a little bit of upside is there for this stock here. So APLD, 2% higher yesterday, continues to trade inside this uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. A very strong support down at 17, 18 bucks for APLD, with a resistance all the way up to $25 right now for this company. Any guidance on Salesforce? Let's take a look at CRM. So a lot of consolidation. Support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle at 234, 235. Resistance back up to 255. We're still kind of fighting this descending triangle with these lower highs that are coming in for CRM. So that's going to be that lower high with a very strong support at 230, 232 for Salesforce. So government shutdown, I don't think that's going to do a lot for the market or for the economy. I think markets usually don't care much about government shutdowns. In the past, historically, it's been more of a noise than any kind of a signal. Review on RNA and NVTS. Let's take a look at RNA here. Okay, looks like a pretty small $6 billion company. Support level is going to stay put at $36.50 with a resistance back up to $46, $47. So inside this red rectangle is what we're looking at for a resistance. And a support level that's going to stay put roughly around $35, $36 for RNA. And then let's take a look at NVTS here. Navitas. There's been a lot of interest in this stock as well. Resistance up to 720. So inside this red rectangle with a support level that's going to stay put roughly at 540, 545 for NVTS. So just to give you all a bit of an update, pre-market we're looking essentially flat. S&P 500, QQQs flat. We got Tesla slightly down, Nvidia slightly up. Most of Magnificent 7 stocks are opening flat here on the day. That's going to be it for today, you guys. As my family's waiting downstairs, I'm gonna conclude this live stream. I'm gonna spend some time with my nephew. Again, I've got 2 more days with them. I'm back in Dubai next week, so we'll obviously do a lot longer live streams, market open, possibly even market close, and of course we'll be a lot more active with a lot of these updates as well. So thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you all. And again, link's going to be down below if you're interested in joining. Today is the last day if you want to take advantage of the annual discount, 30%, as well as the courses with lifetime access. And they're all also 50% off. So there's a 3-course bundle. There's a full bundle with 200 plus videos. There's individual courses you can purchase. Again, all of these are half off, 50%. And this does expire at midnight tonight. So any questions, email me, but this will expire tonight. So if you have any questions, like I said, just let me know. But link's going to be down below if you're interested in taking advantage of those savings and those discounts. Thank you so much. Have a great Tuesday, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. And today, don't forget, 10 a.m. Eastern, we also have the JOLTS numbers, which are going to be very, very important for the market as well. So thank you.